Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Mr. Holland's Opus. This is a 1996 film. It's 2 hours and 23 minutes long. It's a drama about music and inspiration and a teacher who changes the lives of so many through his love of music. Played by Richard Dreyfuss. You know him from Jaws and so many other things. Mostly Jaws. At least I do. But yeah, he's an iconic actor. If you know actors, you know who Richard Dreyfuss is. Anyway, he got nominated for Best Actor for this role. I don't think he won, though, that year. But it's based on a true story, a real person. How much of it is 100% real or not is up to debate. But that's what you get with most, based on a true story things. They kind of tweak things in order to make things flow better. But this movie spans 3 decades, four decades. I mean, it starts in the early 60s, soon after JFK is assassinated. When he's the first day he's stepping into school to become a teacher, which he doesn't really want to do. He wants to be a famous musician and composer and everything else. He doesn't want to do a teaching job. He hates it. They don't. Doesn't get along with the people at the school that run things. Olympia Dukakis plays the principal, and William H. Macy plays the vice principal. The two of them butt heads with Holland here and there. But once he gets his groove, honestly, between butting heads with a few people, he does make friends with some other teachers, including the phys ed teacher. The kids have no interest in learning anything that he has to teach. They're bored. They're falling asleep within minutes of his first class starting. It's kind of upsetting. I'd be upset if I was teaching that class. But soon he gets his feet under him and he realizes what these kids need is a kind of passion that he can bring to it. Not just teaching them scales and everything written down on the sheets of paper. He has to show them the passion and the love that he has for music, and it works. It's the point of this film is to see the inspiration and the reflection you can have on people's lives to improve it through a shared passion, through a shared love of music. In this case, it could be other things, but in this case, it's music, obviously. And music, you get, as we move through the decades, 60s, 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, you get to see how fashion changes. You see music, a lot of needle drops throughout this that will tell you pretty much exactly what decade you're in. They do some montages every once in a while when they sort of want to advance the story by a few years. Because, he's taught so many kids over so many decades. You get to see how those cultural events, the assassination of John Lennon and the Vietnam War, or the Nixon resigning. You get to see all these different things. Woodstock, of course. You get to see all these things, how they reflect upon him, and because these are things that are important to him, even though they don't say that right out. You see how his love of music comes through and changes things for not just him, but for his family and the students he teaches. He goes from having, a job he doesn't want to pay the bills for him and his wife, to suddenly having a pregnant wife, which makes things even more difficult. And then he discovers at a very early age that his son is deaf. And that leads into a whole other story arc, a layer to the story, where he and his wife have a frustrating time trying to learn how to communicate with their son, at a time when American Sign Language and it was not a common thing for people to do, at least not widespread. It wasn't. It maybe in special schools, which they did their best to get their kid into, they would do that kind of thing. But outside of those schools, a lot of people treated kids like that as mentally deficient, or that if they try to use sign language too much, it would diminish their ability to communicate in the real world with real regular people. So you get to see that them experience that frustration. But a lot of this is his interaction with his students, all the way from a young red-haired girl played by Alicia Witt. I had a crush on her in the '90s, but she she's bad at the clarinet. She's just bad, and suddenly, he teaches her how to be better. I won't tell you how, but teaches her how to be better, and then she's gone because time moves on. He's at one point, in order to get his class to properly march in the marching band, well, he makes a deal with the phys ed teacher to take on one of his athletes because he has bad grades and give him a role in the band playing the drums. And that kid is a young Terrence Howard, which you might know from Empire, or from he was the very first roadie in Iron Man, in the first Iron Man film. So yeah, you get to, there's a lot of big names in these small parts here. Back, what's this? Yeah, this is a good 25 years ago. This film's 25 years old. So you get to, it's really about how he inspired these kids and how they affected his life. There's even one student in a point where I just couldn't believe they were actually going this direction with the story, like including this part of the story. I imagine this actually happened. That I don't know if I want to say anything, because let's just say there's a certain amount of tension between him and a female student who is very, very talented. She's a very talented singer. And yeah, they have an appreciation for each other. Will they act on it? Do they act on it? Well, you'll have to watch the movie. It's a bit of a controversial bit to include in this. I mean, this is basically this guy's life history. They could have left it out, or maybe they added it in just to give drama to the whole thing. I have no idea. I don't know what his real story is. Maybe they played it down. Maybe it was a whole lot more lascivious than they let on. But it went a number of directions I wasn't expecting. I mean, beyond the great music cues all throughout, and just seeing history through the lens of music, that through the filter of a person who loves music. To me, at first, it was just like, this is going to be a slog. This is going to be kind of boring. It's one of those things where I think they created for Oscar bait, and he did get nominated. Richard Dreyfuss did get nominated for an Oscar, but he didn't win that year. So it's one of those things where they just, look like they release it right around Thanksgiving, and they're going to make it so that it's fresh in the minds of the Academy voters, and somebody's, going to win an Oscar from it. They don't make movies like this anymore, really. At least not mainstream. There's some indies that they do this kind of thing. But the big payoff is, of course, at the end, when you understand that the full impact of what his passion for music and his passion for teaching these kids about music, and the love he has for his family. When you see, despite all the frustrations, despite all the problems and setbacks and things like that, it took me a while because it was just like, okay. I had to take a break, and before I started recording this, it's if it doesn't make you just a little bit misty-eyed at the end, I don't know if you paid attention to the film. It's the kind of thing that you kind of hope that you can have that kind of good impact on somebody's life yourself, and to see. Yes, I'm ruining a little bit of it, but it's kind of what you expect when you have a build-up like this. It pays off to a certain degree, in at least one way. So, but you get to see the appreciation that people have for what he did for them, and it's kind of thing where, yeah, we all had a teacher that we know growing up that had a pretty good impact on us. Most of us do, I hope. That had a great impact on our lives and taught us things that we can never adequately um, show our appreciation to. So it's that kind of film. If you, it's just a teacher appreciation. This is a music appreciation film. It's good. It's good. It's not the kind of thing that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need to watch this over and over again. Unless you're one of those kids in the band who saw this when it came out. I had not seen this before. It didn't make me want to rush out to the theater in 1996. It just didn't. I can appreciate it for what it is. It's a good film, but it's not going to be the kind of thing I'm going to watch over and over again. Although that Rowena girl, she is dang pretty. It's still not enough to make me want to watch it over and over again. I say if you grew up in the band, if you grew up making music, if you have a love for music, if you have a love for teaching and teachers, this is definitely a movie you want to watch. You need to. That's just the way it is. So, all right, it's the end of the year. We get to reset the numbers. We're getting. I'm adding a whole chunk of new things to the list. New shows, movies, episodes, shorts, series that all got added to Disney Plus over the last 3 months, October, November, and December. And we have a new count, and so everything is fresh. Hopefully, if I did this right, when I press a number and it correlates to a number on this brand new sheet for the next quarter, it's going to give us something we've never seen before, and it won't be a redundant thing. Hopefully. I'm hoping that I took some things out. Okay, here we go. It's been a busy New Year's Eve day. Let's pick the first new Disney Plus Everyday Challenge for 2022.
312.
All right, 312. This is the right tab. Yes, 312. Okay. All right, here we go. It's one of them animated Marvel films that spun off of the Marvel Rising, the Secret Warriors kind of thing. This one focuses on Shuri. This is Marvel Rising, Operation Shuri. We may not know how things are going to work out in the next Black Panther film, but in this case, we do have an animated version of Shuri and the Secret Warriors team. So Marvel Rising, Operation Shuri on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. See you back here tomorrow. See you back here next year.